All right, the State of the Union is back on for next Tuesday. That will leave about a little more than 9 days for the president and Democrats to cobble together something on the border wall and the budget to avoid yet another shutdown. A former Republican governor of Indiana, Mitch Daniels, says it's time we be very careful through this, Democrats and Republicans alike. But when it comes to the State of the Union, Governor, what do you think of that whole event and the pageantry that comes with it?
I regret to say I don't think much of it, Neil, and I regret that because I really believe we need more, not fewer, moments, occasions on which people lay down their partisan pitchforks and come together as we do at the 4th of July or the Tomb of the Unknowns once a year, reflect on our great good fortune to live in this country in this time and on the things we have in common. But unfortunately, the State of the Union, which once it could be argued served that sort of communitarian purpose, no longer does. It's a made-for-TV spectacle. I think it diminishes rather than adds to the sense of confidence and common purpose that we need so badly right now.
Now, I definitely see where you're coming from, but maybe it's just the old-fashioned institutionalist in me that likes seeing everyone together in a room. All the branches of government, all there. And they might heckle each other and zing you and play these ridiculous games and theatrics. But I like seeing them all in a room. What about you?
I always have liked seeing them in a room, but precisely what I liked was that people who the audience knew differed strongly on so many issues, did come together, respected each other, applauded as appropriate, and reserved their criticisms for maybe commentary afterward. And that's just not what we see these days. Lots of theatrics, disrespect, sometimes from the president to someone in the audience, sometimes from the audience back to the president.
Right.
I'm just afraid that it fosters cynicism rather than citizenship. And I'm a traditionalist too. I want to go back to the tradition that lived from the beginning of the Republic until Woodrow Wilson, who began the process of turning it into more of a stage show.
Yeah, you're right. I remember covering the Wilson administration, Governor. That might surprise you when they did that. But it's interesting about what's at stake for this particular State of the Union because it comes in the middle of this frantic rush to get some sort of a deal to avoid a repeat of a shutdown. So Democrats are already afraid the president is going to use it to talk up a wall and the need for a wall and national security. If you had to advise the president about how we should lay it out next week, what would you say?
I'm not in the business of advising presidents, let alone this one. I can only say, I think consistent with the column that I wrote, that a speech that may be a surprising one at this point, at this juncture, that was sober and respectful and accommodating to those of different viewpoint, an invitation to come together now finally and resolve problems that ought to be susceptible to compromise. You know, we've got some enormous problems that no one's dealing with in this country. I refer specifically to runaway entitlement spending and debt.
Absolutely.
But this business of immigration has always had the elements, I thought, of a bargain in it if the two sides could take that first step.
They never do, though. They never do.
One can dream.
One can dream is right. Governor, thank you very, very much. Mitch Daniels,
yeah.
Also the former Office of Management and Budget Director.